So let us look into the fourth passage that was given to us in Mock 9. So what is this passage focusing on? I think the very first paragraph talks about the core. Do fathers also go through some hormonal changes just like mothers? And then there is this first study involved which talks about low testosterone. Now the studies in birds already proved that low testosterone or high testosterone interferes with parenting and low testosterone supports it. But then what is true for birds, is that also going to be true for men? So the passage talks about a species which is closer to human beings, and that of marmoset monkeys. And using that experiment, it says that yes, in fact, that is indeed true. And then eventually we saw or discovered this in humans as well. And in humans, it came through two studies, Filipino men, and then subsequent studies done of some other fathers as well. And towards the end, the last paragraph also talks about another hormonal factor, and that is oxytocin. So on the whole, I think the passage started by trying to discover whether fathers also undergo hormonal changes the way mothers do, and it conclusively proved that yes, it does, with the help of some of these examples and experiments and observations. So let's dive into our questions here. Question number 13. Which of the following best captures the main findings of the study conducted by the author of the passage? So what is the main finding? Men also undergo hormonal changes when they become fathers. What kind of changes? The testosterone levels go down. Okay, so let's see. A, fathers experience a significant increase in testosterone levels upon exposure to infant scent. That contradicts the passage, so can be ruled out. How about B? The research findings indicate that fathers with lower levels of testosterone and oxytocin tend to be more involved. No. Lower levels of testosterone, yes, but then the ones who are more involved need to have higher levels of oxytocin. So it's the second half which contradicts the passage. Let's eliminate B. How about C? The study shows that the transition to fatherhood decreases testosterone levels in men. Yes. Establishing a link between fatherhood and hormonal changes similar to those observed in other primate species. Yes, that works. There is nothing that's contradictory, at least. Although I would also have preferred that the change is similar to mothers, but let's see, maybe D is better. D says the research demonstrates that fathers have 20% less testosterone compared to non-fathers, thus indicating a positive correlation between oxytocin levels and parental caregiving. How will this conclusion follow from what has been stated before? Right? There is no such relationship established between low testosterone levels and oxytocin levels directly, and therefore D can also be eliminated. So the best answer choice for us is indeed option C. And with that, let's dive into our next question. So all of the following, if false, would strengthen the findings of the Dutch research group discussed in the last paragraph except O. So if false would strengthen would basically mean that if it is true, it should weaken. And except would mean that it does not weaken. So what are we looking for? If I simplify it, I'd say we are looking for an answer choice that does not weaken the findings of the Dutch research group, or maybe even better, it strengthens, right? So let us see. Let's look at A. The fathers who received oxytocin through a nasal spray. So remember the Dutch research group, nasal spray, oxytocin, higher levels, played with the children, were less critical, less irritable. Children also had a higher oxytocin level afterwards. Okay, so A, the fathers who received oxytocin through a nasal spray had pre-existing higher levels of oxytocin compared to the fathers who received a placebo treatment. Ooh. So one of the assumptions in the study was that both of them had the same oxytocin level. One got a placebo, the other got oxytocin, the levels increased, and that is why that person became friendlier. But what if the ones who became friendlier already had high oxytocin levels? That means that the nasal spray did not work, they already were more friendly, and therefore it contradicts the study and thus weakens. And because it weakens, it cannot be our answer. B, the infant's increase in oxytocin levels, oxytocin could be attributed to genetic predisposition and environmental influences, including people. Now, if B is true, then it confirms the assumption that, hey, if an infant has a person with high oxytocin level in that infant's environment, even the infant's oxytocin level can go up. So this supports the assumption. So this actually strengthens. How about C? The Dutch research group did not account for the father's previous experience of familiarity with interacting with their children, which would have influenced their behavior. See, once again, what if the friendly guys were already friendlier compared to the non-friendly people? If that turns out to be true, then the experiment's authenticity will be lost. So I guess we can also eliminate C. This also weakens. It essentially casts doubt on the methodology of the research. D, oxytocin administration through a nasal spray may have potential side effects that could impact the father's behavior and interaction. Okay, now we assumed that it was the higher oxytocin level which made fathers friendlier. But D says that, hey, what if it was not the oxytocin but its side effect? So we established a connection between oxytocin and friendliness when it comes to playing with the children. But now if D is true, then there is a possibility that it is not the oxytocin level which is doing it. It is the side effect of that oxytocin administered. So it will cast a doubt over our conclusion, and therefore D also weakens. So we are looking for an answer choice that does not weaken or strengthen. Which answer choice is that? B, and that is why our answer to question number 14 should be option B. And let's move over to question number 15. All of the following, if true, would weaken except. So one of these does not weaken, and that is the one that we are looking for. Okay. And we are talking about the experiment conducted on marmoset monkeys. A, the scent of an ovulating female marmoset had a similar effect on testosterone levels in non-father adult male marmosets as it did in fathers. Oh, that contradicts the observations, right? Ovulating females skyrocketed in the testosterone levels of non-fathers, but had a blunted effect on fathers. But if A says they are similar, then this definitely contradicts one of the key observations, and therefore A weakens. So at the end of the day, weakening means what? Proving a premise or an assumption wrong. So A in that sense proves one of those premises wrong. Let's have a look at B. Testosterone levels in fathers of marmoset monkeys remained unchanged when presented with the scent of an infant. The study very clearly said that the testosterone levels of fathers went down. B says, hey, it remained unchanged. So that once again contradicts one of the key observations. So this is going to weaken. C, adult male marmosets experienced an increase in testosterone levels, showed a decrease in testosterone levels when presented with the scent of an infant. But hey, it just says adult male marmosets. It does not say whether they are fathers or not. So let us see. Let us say that this adult male marmoset is a father. In that case, when he is exposed to the scent of an ovulating female, he should not experience an increase in testosterone levels. This part will contradict it. And on the other hand, if you're talking about a non-father, then the second half, decrease in testosterone level when presented with the scent of an infant. But this is not true for non-fathers. So irrespective of whether you take this adult male marmoset to be a father or a non-father, it is going to contradict some part of the observation, and therefore this will also weaken. D, The blunted testosterone response observed in fathers was accompanied by an increase in their caregiving behaviors towards their offspring. This is definitely an assumption involved. So D is strengthening it. And that is why I think when it comes to choosing an answer, it's a no-brainer. Our answer here should be option D. And with that, let's dive into our last question of the passage. Which of the following set of key terms best capture the essence of the passage? Now, when I started going through these, I noticed that when I look at B, marmoset monkeys, that was one experiment designed to support that fathers in human species also go through change in hormonal levels. It's not a key part. Moreover, testosterone modulation was only a minor part. You could have skipped it. Modulation part, not increase, decrease, but the modulation part. Then C, bird research, again tangential, can be removed. Primate care has not even been mentioned, remove it. D, maternal transformation, we are talking about paternal transformation. Hormone comparison, minor part, yeah, but part of the experiments. Testosterone decline, oxygen. So these are fine. But you notice B, C and D definitely have something or the other wrong because it is not the essence of the passage. A does not make any such mistake, and therefore the best answer for question number 16 should be option A. So that takes care of our passage 4.